Good morning, everyone. All right, so I want to talk about an amazing experience I had yesterday, April 17th. So, here in Austin, Texas, I'm going to keep most details kind of confidential, but I'm going to describe the experience. So, there was an event held by a dear friend I made here, and it's called Conscious Relating. And it is what I've wanted to see more of for a while. So at this event, everyone arrived, and then when everyone was there, we locked the doors, just so the space could be closed container. And we all got around, introduced ourselves, and we spoke on what was present for us. So first of all, this guy, he listed several little core pillars that helped us out a lot, like be reflective, listen to understand, not to respond, reflect what you heard and understood, and then allow yourself to speak from your heart, be vulnerable, and then be heard, and then the other person reflects back to you. And this reflective listening is so effective. And they also had a pillar about consent, obviously, moment to moment consent. And there were a couple others, I don't remember every single specific, but the whole container was designed for communing, connecting, being understood, authentically relating, consent, and, sovereignty. And I love that. Every single thing there was optional, invitational, but people felt safe and open enough to explore all of it. I don't think a single person said no. And we began with a little game where we would say something that we had felt that was true for us. So for example, one thing I said was, I feel like if I am myself authentically, then I won't be supported by society. And a lot of people stepped forward, so a lot of people could relate to that. And then it kept going. People would just say, sometimes they'd be really shallow, sometimes they'd be really deep, but it would allow us to see that every single person in the space was a human being just like us, who has had similar experiences, may have come from a whole different walk of life and a whole different story, but we could all relate. We could all have commonality, common ground, and understand each other. And after that, we broke into pairs. And this man I was paired with, incredibly present. It's not every day I meet a human who's willing to keep constant eye contact with me for over 90 seconds. We were just eye gazing while the rules were being explained and just holding each other in presence. And I listened, and I really heard, listening is something I've been working on. I really heard this man, and I reflected back to him something that I understood and heard from that, and he said, yes, exactly. And then at one point, I described how I was feeling about the topic we were giving to talk about from my own life experience, and what happened amazed me. So I explained as best I could something that I didn't fully have pieced together. I was still trying to figure out exactly how I felt. We're all working through situations, and I reflected how I felt. I projected how I felt, and this man reflected back to me. He said, I don't remember what he said, but he reflected how I felt more clearly than I was able to articulate it or understand it in my head. And I just said, yes, I didn't even know that's what I meant. Thank you. And I just felt really seen and heard. And then we broke into these groups of about 4 people, and we shared 2 topics. One, what makes us, if I remember correctly, was that what we shared? Yes, we were sharing what love and relation is to us and what made us understand love deeper. And every single person had a different story. Everyone had a puzzle piece that was enriching. And by the end of it, we did a little exercise where all 4 people that connected, one person would receive what people appreciated about that person. And each person would say what they noticed and observed and appreciated about that person, whether they knew him or not. And people that I didn't even know were able to reflect and see and appreciate parts of me that I feel haven't always been seen. And I love that. And we also were very mindful to speak from I instead of you. So like, I feel this way when you say blank, instead of you make me feel. And we're taking responsibility for how we feel. It's a very safe relating container. It is designed for all types of relationships, friendships, romantic relationships, familial relationships, casual relationships, and everything is in relation. I have a relationship with this water bottle here. I have a relationship with what I drink. It nourishes me, and then I return it. And so authentic relating has enriched me, and I'm definitely going to go back I think they'll host another one next week. I'm really excited. And if you want to find out more, come to Austin, find out, and if I get permission and consent from the gentleman, I will give an actual shout out about what that is here. But right now I'm going to keep it vague. And I'm just really glad to see more of this in the world, because the way we were talking and understood each other, we all showed up there nervous as strangers, most of us. And at the very end, it was very, very clear to everyone that we were all family. We were all friends. And another thing that was really beautiful as well, right before we started the exercises, we were led through breathwork by a breathwork coach that was there as well. And at the very end, I was blessed to guide a little 3-minute breathing. But I think there's something to be said about the power of holding breathwork or meditative centering before and after a container. Because we all had anxiety, nervousness, we were carrying the whole day, and then we did the breath work and we just released it all. And some people had very profound experience in just like 7 minutes. And we were all present, ready to connect. And at the very end, just a few mindful breaths. Maybe I'll go longer if I do it next time. We all regrounded into the space and were able to just recenter and leave as we were. And obviously this container and similar ones like it, as above so below, may be wanted all over the world, and they're going to evolve. There's always room for growth. But what I see right now, something I'm very grateful for. A bunch of entrepreneurs, a bunch of playful adult kids, a bunch of people who are, just exploring and finding themselves. We had people from all walks of life. I live in my van. We had people from all walks of life, and we're all coming together and connecting and relating. Now, I think that is healing. I think that's medicine. And I believe, it's my perspective, that if we get that out, then we'll see a lot more of that in the world. And I love that. So, thank you for the authentic relating. Thank you for listening to this. And hope you have a wonderful day. May you find what resonates with you.